Hello friends, today we start with our new chapter in physics for standard 10th ICSE, that is current electricity. Uh, Now the chapter current electricity is a huge chapter. It is quite a big chapter as such. It has got the three parts. The first part of the chapter is related to the concept of current, the voltage, that is potential difference, and then the Ohm's law, that is resistance. So that will be the first part of the chapter and have got the numericals regarding the same. The next chapter is regarding the battery and the different types of internal resistances and the different connections. What you are going to do, that is series circuit and a parallel circuit, and accordingly you will be having the concept of the series and parallel resistances and equivalent resistances, and there will be good amount of numericals based on that also. And finally is the part of power, that is energy, that is electrical energy which is going to be used. So that is voltage into current, and so that particular part of power is going to be there in the last part of the chapter. So accordingly there will be three parts, the quite a huge chapter as I told you. So let's go through them one by one. Of course it's going to take a long time to complete this part. So yeah, let's start with current electricity. Concept of charge. Now we very well know that in the 9th standard we studied about current, and we got to know that basically electron is the one which is going to move around, and the the flow of electron is nothing but the current. And then we also studied about the static electricity in the earlier classes, static electricity and current electricity. So static electricity was the one in which the charge was being produced when the two substances are rubbed together. So like if it is the glass and the ebonite, or the fur and the fur and the rubber sheet, or so if it is rubber that way. So accordingly you will be getting different kinds of charges which will be present, but these charges are on insulators, and then therefore they do not travel, and that's why they are called as static electricity. But we are going to learn is about current electricity, means the flow of electrons. So current means flow, so the flow of electricity is the current electricity. So in standard 9th we have read that when two non-conducting bodies such as glass and silk, or ebonite and fur, are rubbed together, there is a transfer of electrons from one body to the other. The body which gains electrons become negatively charged, and the body which loses electrons become positively charged. Thus, there are two kinds of charges, positive charge and negative charge. Two like charges repel each other, while the two unlike charges attract each other. The charge on a body is denoted by the symbol Q. So that is, charge is given as the letter Q. Okay. So yes, we saw that when two substances are going to be rubbed together, two insulating substances are rubbed together like glass and silk, or fur and ebonite are going to be rubbed together. One of them is going to gain electrons from the other ones, and the one which gains electron will be negatively charged, and the one which is going to lose electron will be positively charged. Accordingly, you will be having positive and negative are the two kinds of charges which are going to be present in any particular kind of a body. So the positive and negative charges are such that if the two charges are same, they are going to repel each other, and if the two charges are different, they are going to attract each other. So that is the basic fundamental principles of static electricity, of positive and negative charges. And the charge of the body is given by the letter Q. Now the symbol of charge is coulomb. So coulomb is the charge. The SI unit of charge is coulomb. Symbol is C, that is coulomb, capital C, this is C. And the smaller unit of charge will be millicoulomb or microcoulomb, and the nanocoulomb also, where 1 millicoulomb is equal to 10 to minus 3 coulomb, micro will be 10 to minus 6 coulomb, and nano will be 10 to minus 9 coulomb. The quantity of charge on a body is determined by the number of electrons in deficit if the body is positively charged, or the number of electrons in excess if the body is negatively charged. So yeah, the charge, the quantity of charge which is going to be present on a body will depend upon whether it has got. See, we know that an atom is electrically neutral. That means the number of protons and number of neutrons and number of electrons present in an atom are going to be the same. Number of electrons will be equal to number of protons. So protons is equals to electrons. Now when any particular substance is rubbed, the electrons are going to be transferred from one body to another body. From A to B it is going to take place. So when it is getting transferred from A to B, that means the protons now becomes greater, and in B the electrons have become greater. So here electrons have become greater, here protons have become greater. Why? Because यहाँ पे suppose there are 100 protons, 100 electrons over here in this atom, and उसमें से अगर 25 move over here, now there are 75 electrons and 100 protons. So here the positive charge will be 25, whereas here because electrons are added to this thing, this will be negative 25. So accordingly, the one which has got a deficit of the electrons are called as positive charge atoms or positive charge substances, and the one which has got an excess of electrons will be called as negatively charged bodies. Thus, the charge in the body is given as Q is equals to plus or minus Ne. So, we got over here that the charge on a body will be dependent on the number of electrons which are present. Accordingly, the charge Q will be equal to plus or minus Ne, where N is the number of electrons over here and E is the charge on each electron. So, we have where N is the number of electrons in the deficit for plus and in excess is minus sign, where E is the charge on the electron and the charge on the electron is given as E is equals to minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Okay, so that is the value of the charge present in one electron. One electron के ऊपर कितना charge है? 1 minus, because it's on an electron, so negative sign. The negative sign is because it is a negative charge. Similarly, protons will have positive charge. So, charge on each electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So, charge on the electron is minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So, 1 coulomb charge means a deficit of 1 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 is equal to 6.25 into 10 raised to 8 electrons. So, when I say the charge is equal to 1 coulomb, so 1 coulomb will be how many? N find करना तो कैसे करेंगे? I know that this is 1 coulomb. I know that this is N I need to find out, so it is plus or minus N ले लेंगे, और E is minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. So accordingly, N will be equal to 1 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19, which is 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. So you can see that when 6.25 to 10 raised to 18 electrons are going to be present in a particular body, then the charge in the body can be considered to be as 1 coulomb. Okay, so we can see that if 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons are present or absent in a substance, then the charge which will be present in negative, if it is there present, then it is negative charge will be 1 coulomb, and if it is absent, then the positive charge is 1 coulomb. So that's the amount of charge of 1 coulomb. Note, in a non-conductor or insulator, the charge resides at a point where there is an excess or deficit of the electrons. That is, the charge is static and it does not flow. So we very well know that in a non-conductor, the flow of electrons will not be there. They do not allow the electrons to flow, and because they do not allow the electrons to flow, that's why the electrons are going to be stationary at that particular point or on the end of the substance or the body, and that particular kind of a charge which is present is called as static electricity. The static charge. On the other hand, a conductor such as a metal has a large number of free electrons in it, so the charge in them can move or flow. So that's the difference between a conductor and a non-conductor. Non-conductor, the charge present on it will be static, it will not move, whereas in a conductor, the charge present on it will be moving because they have got free electrons present in them. So that's the difference over here. Now let's understand the concept of current. So we understood the concept of charge. So the charge is measured in coulomb, and it is the Q is equals to plus or minus NE. The N is the number of electrons, and E ka value is minus 1.6 on 10 to minus 19 coulomb. Accordingly, 1 coulomb charge will be equal to such that 6.25 into 10 to 18 electrons ka presence will form 1 coulomb charge. So that is about charge. Now we see about, so I'll just write this over here, is equals to plus or minus NE, where E is equals to minus 1.6 into 10 to minus 19 coulomb, right? So that's about charge. Now we talk about concept of current. So next is current. Current is denoted by the letter I. The charge in motion constitutes electric current. So the charge which is moving, a moving charge is current. Okay. So charge which is in motion constitutes to current. Current is defined as the rate of flow of charge. So the rate of flow of charge. Now I have always told you that whenever there is a rate of flow or rate of something, that means it is charge upon time. Okay. Rate, अगर कहीं पे भी rate of आएगा, उसका मतलब है it is the denominator of that particular formula has time on it. So accordingly, you have over here that current over here is rate of charge, that is Q upon T. Okay, so in other words, the current flowing in the conductor is the amount of charge flowing per second through it. It is denoted by the letter I. If the charge Q flows to the cross section of the conductor in time T, then the current I through it is given as I is equals to Q upon T. So this is the formula, that I is equals to Q upon T, that is current is equals to charge upon time, that is current will be the amount of charge which is passing through a particular conductor in time T seconds. So that is nothing but rate of flow of charge is nothing but current. The current in a circuit is measured by the ammeter by connecting it in series in the circuit, taking care that the positive marked terminal of ammeter is towards the positive terminal of the source of the current. So current is measured by a device which is called as ammeter. Now ammeter is the device which is always connected in series. What do you mean by series? That in series circuit, you'll always find that they are connected end to start. So it is like, suppose this is one body, this is another body. If I'm iska ye start point hai, iska ye end point hai, ye start point hai. If I'm connecting the start point to end point, and similarly another start point, end point like this, then these three devices are connected in series. Okay. If this is the condition, it is connected in series. Now, if I connect them in such a way that iska start or iska start is connected together, and iska end or iska start end connected together, वैसे iska start and iska end connected together, and iska start end connected. So, if I am connecting like this, then they are called as parallel connection. So, in case of the electrical circuit, there are two kind of connections. One is a series connection. A series connection is one in which the start point connected to end point connected to start point, and so on. And other one is the parallel connection, in which the start points are connected together and end points are connected together, and then it is connected to the battery. So that's why the ammeter is always connected in series. So it will be something like this. This is the ammeter, which will be positive connected here, negative connected here. So it will always be in series with the circuit. That is the requirement for finding out the current. Unit of current, the SI unit of charge is coulomb, and therefore current is measured in coulomb per second. So you can see over here that Q ka SI unit is coulomb, and that of time we know is second. So coulomb per second is the SI unit of current, which is given as 1, or we'll not say 1, we'll just say ampere. Okay, which is coulomb per second, which has been given the name ampere. The symbol is A. So this is ampere with the symbol A. So, in honor of the French physicist Andre Ampere, we define 1 ampere as the current which flows in a conductor which when 1 coulomb of charge passes in 1 second through it. So, I can easily define 1 ampere as 1 coulomb upon 1 second. That is nothing but 1 ampere of current flows through a conductor when a charge of 1 coulomb passes through it in 1 second. Okay, if a charge of 1 coulomb passes through the conductor in 1 second, then the current passing through that particular conductor is equal to 1 ampere. So that's the definition of 1 ampere, that 1 ampere of a current which flows in a conductor when 1 coulomb of charge passes in 1 second through it. That's so 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 second, or 1 coulomb second minus 1. To express the weak current, the smaller units of current are milliamperes, MA, microampere, mu A, which are related in ampere as follows: that 1 milliampere is equal to 10 to minus 3 ampere, and 1 microampere is 10 to minus 6 ampere. Now we see the flow of the current. In metals, the moving charges are the free electrons which constitute the current, while in electrolytes and ionized gases, both the positive charge ions, cations, and the negative charge ions, anions, are the moving charges which constitute current. Okay, when we talk about the good conductors can be of two kinds. One is a solid metal, or maybe some kind of a substance which can just pass the electricity through it but does not dissociate itself. So when the substance is such that it is allowing the electricity to pass through them, what it requires is the free electrons in them. The free electrons present in them will make the flow of electricity possible. Whereas when we are talking about the electrolyte, when we are talking about a aqueous solution or a compound of that thing which is going to allow the electricity to flow through them, there will be the thing that it will be splitting up into anions and cations. Okay, the positive ions and negative ions are going to be formed when such a thing happens. When there is a positive and negative ions formed, in that case, the ions are the one which are going to carry the current from one point to another point. See, in case of solid metals, it will be the electrons, the free electrons, which are going to move and allow the current to pass through. Whereas in case of the electrolyte, that is the current conductor, the substances which are going to be splitting up into ions, the ions are the one which are going to travel and give the conduction of the current taking place. So the negative charge ions and the anions, cations and anions are moving charges which constitute the current. If n electrons pass through the cross section of a conductor in time t, then total charge passed through the conductor is given as Q is equals to Ne, and the current in the conductor will be I is equals to Q upon T is equals to N into A. So we very well know that I is equals to Q upon T, but Q is nothing but Ne, so it is equals to Ne upon T. That is the number of electrons passing through that circuit in time period. So if the charge over here is 1 coulomb, that means 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. We have over here n ka value was 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. So here also, in this case, so what will be 1 ampere of current? When 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons pass through a conductor in 1 second, then the current flowing through it will be 1 ampere. So we say that since 1 coulomb charge is carried by 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons, so if 1 ampere current flows through a conductor, it implies that 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons pass in 1 second across the cross section of the conductor. Current is a scalar quantity, it has no direction, it is a scalar quantity. So by stating the direction of the current in the conductor, we mean the direction of the motion of the electron is opposite to it. That is one thing that we had learned it in the 9th standard, that the direction of the flow of electrons is opposite to the direction of the flow of current. Now flow of current is always going to be from positive to negative, whereas the electrons are going to move from negative to positive. So this is conventional. We are going to use only the sign conventions. According to the convention over here, we know that current always flows from positive to negative. So we are never going to see the flow of electrons, because the flow of electrons is opposite to the flow of current. So we are just going to see the flow of current, and current flows in the direction opposite to the flow of electrons, which is from positive to negative. In an electrolyte, if N1 cations each of charge Q1 move in one direction and N2 anions each of charge Q2 move in the opposite direction in time t, the current in the direction of the motion will be N1 Q1 plus N2 Q2 upon t. So that will be the condition, but anyway you don't have any numericals based on that, so it is just for your information over here. The next one we see is the concept of potential difference. Now potential difference is basically, potential will be the capacity of anything to attract the electrons towards itself, or the movement to move an electron from one point to another point. That means the work done from moving the electron from one point to another point is the potential of that point. So we have potential. We have read that the like charges repel while the unlike charges attract each other. If a charge A is brought near another like charge B, some work has to be done in moving the charge A against the repulsive force on it due to the other charge B. Just a minute. Okay. So if a charge A is brought near another like charge B, if A is brought near another like charge B, now what is happening? Now this is a like charges, so like charges are going to repel each other, but मैंने क्या किया, फिर भी ये दोनों like charges को पास में लेके आया. I got them over here. Now when I got them over here means I am doing some amount of work against the repulsive force over here. So that is what we say, that if a charge A is brought near another like charge B, some work has to be done in moving the charge A against the repulsive force on it due to the other charge B. Similarly, if a charge A is brought near another unlike charge B, work is done by the attractive force of the charge due to the unlike charge B. Thus, some work is involved in moving a charge in the vicinity of another charge. So whether I am bringing it near, I am bringing it away, जो भी है, whether they are like charges or unlike charges, there will be always some kind of a repulsive attractive force going to be present over there, and you are going to be doing some work against those, and hence some work will definitely need to be done when you are moving a charge from with respect to another charge. So that's why the some work is involved in moving a charge in the vicinity of another charge. Therefore, the potential at a point in a region of charge is measured in terms of the work done in moving a test charge from a point of zero potential to that point. Since force between the two charges is zero at infinite separation, therefore we consider the potential to be zero when the test charge is at infinite separation from the other charge. See, what they are saying is that we are considering that the work done in moving a charge from infinity to a point as the potential. By infinity to a point, because when the point is at separation, which is infinite separation, then the force of attraction or repulsion between them will be zero. See, we know that the force of attraction and repulsion will be directly related to the square of the distance between them. So अगर ये दोनों के बीच में distance अगर ज़्यादा है तो automatically उसका attractive force or repulsive force will automatically be too less. So if some body is at a infinite position from this particular body, then automatically both the charges के बीच में attractive and repulsive force will be zero. So hence the work done in bringing a test charge from infinity to a point in a region of another charge, when divided by the value of the test charge, gives the potential at that point. Then we define the potential as, the potential at a point is defined as the amount of work done per unit charge in bringing a positive charge from infinity to that point. So what is the potential? The potential is the work done Okay, it is equal to the amount of work done per unit charge. Okay, it is per unit charge. Why per unit charge? Because वो एक charge के ऊपर depend. There are multiple charges are coming, then we are going to divide it by Q. That's why we are having that. It is work done per unit charge on bringing a positive test charge from infinity to a point near it. So that is called as potential. It is denoted by the symbol V. It's a scalar quantity. So the next one over here is potential. It is potential, which is V. Okay, potential is V. Note the potential is positive at a point in the vicinity of a positive charge. Since work has to be done on a positive charge, test charge against the repulsive force due to the positive charge and bringing it from infinity. While it is a negative at a point in the vicinity of a negative charge, since the attractive force of test charge due to the negative charge does work by itself. So you can see that when you are taking a test positive charge, then you are going to have the positive charge over here and a test part will be positive, so you are going to do the work against the repulsive work. But if it is a negative charge, then it will be the work will not be done because the attraction, force of attraction is going to be automatically working against them. So that's why they given that since the attractive force on the test charge due to the negative charge does work by itself. So that's why we are not considering the negative charge, we are taking a positive charge. Test charge is positive in nature. So that's why in figure 8.1 a test charge Q is brought from infinity to a point in the vicinity of positive charged body. So from Q it is brought to P. So if work W is a joule, if W joule of work is done in bringing the test charge Q coulomb from infinity to a point P, then electric potential V at the point is given as V is equals to work done upon charge, that is W upon Q. Okay, so it is obviously the work needed to move a charge Q from infinity to a point P where electric potential is V will be W is equals to Q into V. So we see V potential is equals to work done upon charge. Okay, now the work done is in joule. We know that work done is in joule and the charge is in coulomb. So that is nothing but 1 volt. So volt is the SI unit of potential, which is 1 joule upon 1 coulomb. So units of electric potential, unit of potential V is unit of work is W, unit of charge Q. So the SI unit of work is joule and that of charge is coulomb. So SI unit of potential is joule per coulomb or J upon C minus 1, which has been given the name volt, symbol V, in the honor of scientist Alessandro Volta. Hence, the potential at a point is said to be 1 volt. When the potential at a point will be said to be as 1 volt when 1 joule of work done in bringing 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to that point. So, when 1 joule of work is done on a charge of 1 coulomb on bringing it from infinity to a point in the vicinity of the charge, then it is called the work, then the potential of that point is called as 1 volt. So 1 joule is upon 1 coulomb is nothing but 1 volt. So that was about potential. The next what we see is potential difference, but I think I'll take it in the next video.